It seems like things really started to ramp up when you joined the LAN network, and that seems like that was a huge part of your Halo lifestyle. Tell me a bit about this LAN network. What is it for those who don't know? What we're going to do is we're going to play a tour up, and maybe you can try to give a bit of a tour as the tour plays. The quality's kind of shoddy now, but this is a classic tour video.
So okay, this sweet. This is good. There was a few tour videos, so I'm glad you have this one.
Okay.
So this is what you saw in the Coast to Coast video was actually the original house that the LAN network took place at. This is what was called the gaming house, which was in the same town in the Chicago suburbs. But I mean, this is pretty great. This is this is quite far into it. We got all the jerseys like framed on the walls. You got all the FB jerseys, everything. And out here, everyone was kind of just chilling. In terms of console esports, this was kind of the first of its kind that we're aware of.
Yeah.
Where you kind of had anywhere from 2 to all the way to, I think we had 8 at one point teams out there. But yeah, this was the HQ downstairs where you're going to see it. It was sweet. This couch was always packed. I'm talking like hip to hip. Everyone's watching scrims. You'll see it in a second because we had monitors from the, I think it's maybe looping back, but we had monitors from the 2 gaming stations. So 16 kits down there, 2 full stations of an 8 setup, kind of all piped into these TVs. So you could kind of, from a lot of places in the house, just watch the scrims as they went. But yeah, you'll see here's the TVs right here. So you can kind of just watch the scrims all day, all night. I mean,
wow, the
games didn't stop. It was pretty amazing. But yeah, it was great. This is like I said, this is the second house. So by this time, to be honest, a lot of things are streamlined for both. I'd say for both better and for worse. It's less, it's less homey. You can kind of already tell just from the last video you just watched. A lot of that was from the first house, and it was more just like, ordering ridiculous orders of Famous Dave's. All these pizzas show up.
Yeah.
I just saw a picture actually on my PC today. I randomly ran across on a hard drive of when I would go with Tots' dad to do the Costco runs. You should have seen. We had to do separate trips because the most we ever had at the house was an 8-team LAN. So that's a minimum 36 with a few coaches, not all coaches. So you got a bunch of, upwards of 40 guys plus his own family there. So we would have to do separate, even with huge vehicles, separate runs at Costco for food. And then we'd go back to Costco sometime that day for like a separate run for drinks.
Right.
So yeah, it was a blast. We were so lucky to be a part of it. It's hard to say, how much it did for all of us, how much it did for all the scene. Which is kind of why I made that video right before I left YouTube. Was kind of like my goodbye video because everything at the LAN network was amazing. First of its kind for console stuff, and in many ways the first of its kind. Period. But gosh, it was a great time. I would spend entire summers out there. So would a lot of guys, and I was for most of all of TLN. I was in college full time too. So every weekend I could get out there. I made sure I tried to get either Mondays and Fridays off or worked my schedule in a way that let me travel. But once the summer hit, we would just be out there. And it was a blast. There's actually, I think it's uploaded. People can tweet me if they want to try to find the link. But there actually was a full-blown reality show, not pilot, but trailer shot for TLN by like a professional production team and everying.
Oh and God.
I only saw it, believe it or not. I couldn't believe it. I only saw that trailer within the past few years. So that's a gem too. But yeah, it was amazing. It essentially was all these pro players, all these best friends just hanging out all the time, playing upwards of sometimes 4 series a day, so like minimum 44 games on sometimes when we were landing. There's a lot of Halo. And in between that, we're just goofing off, having fun, playing, as you saw in the other video, NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, Daytona Racing. Just watching movies, watching shows. You couldn't ask for anything more. It was great.
Yeah. So for those who don't really know, or have the context, I guess. So it was one family. It was like Joe Fries and Tots. I don't know how. Is it the Fries, the family, or how would you describe?
Yeah. I mean I guess they are both 2 different versions of the potato, but the Pinocchio family.
The Pinocchio family. There you go. Sorry. So Pinocchio family, and then they rented this, or no, they had purchased the house, and it's specifically dedicated to Halo. Like, how is that?
So at first, this was all happening in their own home.
Okay.
The coast to coast clips you saw, like that is all in their own home. So they are, opening their house from anywhere between 12 to 40 plus guys. I mean, just sleeping on every couch you can imagine, every surface. I would sleep in like this little small gym they had on the floor most of the time, because even though the light would come in, I would know no one was going to like step on me or wake me up, because you can imagine what it's like if like 20 something guys are sleeping in a basement. Granted, we weren't sleeping on top of each other, but it's like the chances of you getting woken up, I mean, you were going to get woken up. Walshy has a great story about how he's sleeping under the NBA Jam machine, and that like 5:30 in the morning, people turn it on and start like slamming the NBA Jam right above his head. So this was like just their own generosity out of the goodness of their hearts. Gina would have her sister come over and other family members come over so they could cook. I mean, you can imagine how much food like 40 guys can eat. But yeah, essentially it was. I think I kind of glossed over the fact that, you know, it was this amazing kind of just homemade operation of the really good practice. And I think the one of the reasons, now this is certainly not the reason, but it's one of the many reasons that Halo 3 towards the end was so tight and so competitive, was because these top teams, oh man, garbage day and recycling day, what a nightmare it was.
Oh yeah.
Dude. Oh God. Yeah, but I mean, like, it's just stuff like this. Like, it was constantly just like scrims, and at the end of every single LAN, you'd have these like tournaments that it really got you ready for the next tournament. We would do random money 8s, like just all the time, nonstop playing. And it was a blast. I think a lot of the success there were not teams that were winning events that weren't at these LANs, which I think tells you about the quality of the practice.
Yeah, and this has to really kind of shape your career going forward as well, because it's like the relationships that you're developing with these people. Like there's Ninja hanging out in here also. Like some of the biggest personalities in esports are just chilling here, having fun. You're developing relationships with these people, and then from there, bigger opportunities seem to arise. Is that kind of how you felt? Like it was like
to be honest, I mean, for you? Yeah, but before any of this, like we were all just like best friends. So this was like all the video and all like all the network, if you will. And all the video and all that, it's all just really byproducts of like kind of what we had already been doing for so many years.
Okay.
So I never really thought of this as like pivotal to my career, if you will. I kind of just thought, there's nowhere else I wanted to be. I just want to be hanging out with all these guys. And it's still the case. Like anytime, for example, I can't tell you how many times I talked to Walsh on the phone these past 2 weeks. I was on the phone with Side only 2 days ago. It's the same with the guys now, right? I was on the phone with Onset. Right. I was on the phone with Onset today. So I think we're, at the end of the day, we're all just, really, really good friends that love Halo, that love games. And I think we've been really lucky that a lot of cool things like this have come out of it.